Crafters, it's Louise with you today on behalf of Kitaholic Kits, and I'm sharing my second scrapbook layout for the September 2019 kits. And for this layout I've done something that I haven't done for a little while, and that's making a paper cluster around my photo. So the way I do this is I take all different types of pattern papers and I just cut them into some really random sized pieces, so they don't have to be straight, some can be torn, you can throw some tags in, and really what I want to do is just position these around the back of my photo. Sometimes I like to have it symmetrical and sometimes I like to have it just completely random. It does depend on how I feel and the photo and the paper and really just my scrapbooking mojo at the time. So as you can see, while I'm attaching the layers, I've done some with a staple just to hold them together, and then I like to break it up a bit by adding some cardboard just to help split that up. Now if you don't like a lot of bulk in your layouts, you, instead of adding the cardboard, you could ink around some of those layers. So you could do a bit of doodling around them or just use some black ink and actually add interest and dimension that way. But in my case, I like to add the cardboard dimension, so that's what I do. Now the little gold doilies are probably one of my favourite items in this month's kit. I love a doily in the background. I think especially when I'm using a lot of straight lines, like in this cluster there is a lot of those straight edges. I do like to include the doily because not only is it round, but it has that sort of interesting element that works well with those clusters. So I haven't actually attached my photo as yet. As you can see, I'm sort of just playing around in the background, and when I'm quite satisfied with how everything's positioned, I'm going to pop that photo on there and then again mount it up, even it all up with the cardboard. So it's at this point where I pretty much have no idea what I'm doing with this layout. I've cut out some of the exclusive die cuts that come with the kits, and of course we've got the Charms Creations heart in there as well. That was always going to go on this page. This is an older photo, so my twin boys are now 6, but this particular image is the first one of DH giving our twin number 2 his first cuddle. So really is one of my favorite photos, and I love how this layout, this month's collection with the blues and the gold really enhances that photo. Okay, so done a little bit of cutting off camera, and I am now decided that I'm going to add a little cluster of interest up in that top right hand corner, and this is just going to help with the balance of the way the layout's coming together. So I'm sort of looking at it and I've got this interesting photo, I've got some cutouts. How am I going to enhance this page further? Now at this point I actually put the layout aside for a couple of days, worked on something else, because I definitely wanted to add a little bit of mixed media in the background, but I didn't want to use the gold paste that came in this month's mixed media kit because it was just going to be too much gold. I knew I wanted some gold, but the paste was just a little bit too much. So what I'm using is actually the Color Blast Shimmer Dust, and it's in the navy, and you can see that my Color Blast palette over here, it's got all of the powders, they're all listed by color, and what I do when I want to use them is I just activate them with a little dribble of water and then paint them around on the page. So one of the little tips that you can have there is that those color shimmer dusts or any of your dry mediums, it's a bit like a watercolor palette, but it's just that it dries to a powder form, so you have to be careful how you store it. But for me, I just like that I leave it in this little palette, let it dry out, and then when I want to use it again I just reactivate it. So I've also used a fan brush to add some paint splatters, and then some gold as well, and this was the stamp that we got in the mixed media kit. So I love the little pop of black that the stamp gives. It's almost like splatters, but it was so much easier, quicker, and less mess. So off camera I'm going to go ahead and stick all of this down, but otherwise this layout's complete. So thank you heaps for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure if you haven't already subscribed and check out Kitaholic Kits.